plus efforts, Multiversus tier list is coming to a screen near you right now. So, without further ado, we're just going to talk about Velma. Listen, Velma is a character that got better over time. Obviously, at launch, they were miserable, a chore to play, but has slowly been progressing their way up the tier list from the trash bin all the way up to the C tier. Not because I think they're a great character, not even because I think they're necessarily a good character, but they could do some things well. The problem is they do nothing great. They are pretty much milquetoast, nothing going on, nothing special, nothing hyperactive, and everything that they do is just kind of mid, but they have staircase combos now, and they've made it to where a lot of their air normals are a lot better and significantly more consistent, and a lot of their moves you just kind of have to run into in order for them to actually be effective. So nothing oppressive, nothing that they can necessarily do to get the game started for them. You just kind of have to run into things, which is kind of their problem. The opposite of that is Batman. I don't think I need to explain this to anybody, but this character has some of the best movement in the game, has some of the best projectiles in the game, has one of the most consistent combos in the game, being able to do jab, jab, batarang, jab, jab, down tilt, and now with the reworked down tilt, while it was nerfed in a hotfix patch that came out last week, character is still insane, and obviously when batarang is on cooldown, they gave him another great move in its place, which covers a lot of space, has an obnoxious hitbox that hits above, in front, and behind. This is a complete package character that's going to do everything you want this season. Then we have Marvin. Marvin is he's got some of the similar problems of Velma. Like, he can do cool things from time to time, but none of it is ever like, my God, I'm just so scared of Marvin. The difference between Velma and Marvin, though, is he consistently has all his tools available. He can consistently pester you with projectiles. He can consistently put you in positions that you don't want to be in while having some of the best air movement in the game, being able to change the direction of his projectiles, being able to cover so many different angles with the ending of his side attack chain, his up air gun, his up grounded gun, and having one of the best armor break moves in the game in down laser and straight laser. This character can cover a lot of real estate. Headbutt got a buff. He could do more combos. His combos that he used to be able to do that weren't consistent are now consistent at most percentages. So yeah, Marvin's looking up. Then we have this disgusting, nasty, ugly individual that I just can't stand. Listen, he's still got some zero to death shenanigans. He's still got some of the best up airs in the game. His forward air is not bad. He has a pretty decent counter. He can do jab into counter on big hitbox characters and kill people at like 80. Not to mention grenade into balloon being a very consistent thing for him now. Very dangerous. His down air, especially off of his jab or jab jab string, is insane. Leads to a lot of damage potential. And yes, you can punish his side special now. Congratulations, player first game. We can finally punish it. However, no Joker player is just using that move willy-nilly in a place where it doesn't just get hit confirmed into in the first place. So therefore you can punish it, but if you're fighting someone who has any sort of brain cells or any sort of cognitive thought and going through their brain, they're never putting themselves in a position to where you're able to punish that move in the first place. So kind of a moot point, but other than that, solid character. Speaking of solid, a lot of things I just said about Joker kind of pertain to Gizmo as well. Still good projectile, still able to do his staircase combos, while albeit not as consistent as they once were in previous seasons. Still solid, still able to control a lot of space. And yes, they did nerf car in terms of how much damage it's allowed to sustain, but that car can still be comboed into, and yeah, you don't want to deal with that. And if you're not playing a character that can deal with projectiles well, if they ever take a stock from you, put out a popcorn and start singing, you are about to have a very bad time. I'm looking at you Jason players. Y'all are about to be in for a rough ride. Gizmo is still insane. Wonder Woman. I think this is a character that I don't want to put in A tier because they've been slowly getting nerfed and nerfed and nerfed and nerfed to the point to where I think they're just a good character, but they just don't have the crazy sauce that they had. But I feel as though because of where they were, I'm like placeboing myself to think that they're significantly worse because they're not on this level with Marvin. They're still an all-round good character. Impressively a problem is Reindog. This might be my first hot take of the video, but I think Reindog is just really good. Now, can I pilot them? No. Am I godlike with them? God, no. But having some of the best air mobility in the game? Check. Having some of the best zoning and projectile and keep away game in the game? Check. Having a gigantic laser that just racks up percents that goes full map at no one's discretion other than the Reindog players? Check. Being able to have the ability to chase down anybody at any angle from any part of the screen with that roly-poly-oly air maneuver? Check. There's a lot of boxes that this character checks, and they're not a lightweight, so you can't necessarily just get rid of them like most of the other zoners and mages in the game. So yeah, Reindog has a lot of things that are looking up, but you have to be very committed to learning this character to make this character excel. So if you're not fighting people who are of that ilk, who are really grinding this character out, I just don't think you're gonna ever see what I'm talking about. But no, seriously, go look up a tournament and look up a Reindog player and just see like when they're cooking, how oppressive that looks and just how scary it can be just to approach it in the neutral game. I think Reindog's in a really good spot right now. Speaking of, we got this character, we got this little gremlin, we got this little gnome here. Just like Gizmo, in terms of, if this character hits you, you're gonna feel it. He puts you into a lot of messed up 50-50 situations. If you're on a stage with a platform on it, brother, good luck, Chuck, because that buzzsaw is just gonna keep going and going and going like the Energizer Bunny. Not to mention, most characters, when they almost get a kill, they just like, dang, almost. Not Stripe. Stripe almost gets a kill. Pow, 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 pow. He lets that firearm go and you're going off the stage. He has a great spike. He's got one of the greatest downward trajectory moves in the game with his bite move, which sends you down at like almost like a steep 45-degree angle, which off stage, crazy. On stage, he gets tech reset loops, as you guys saw in the montage video I dropped last week. Yeah, this character is sick nasty with it, and he is a problem. Does great damage, has great kill moves. The only thing that is gatekeeping him from being higher than this is the fact that he doesn't have any consistent armor breaking moves. Like, obviously he has the dynamite, and yes, he has the chainsaw, but those aren't necessarily reactionary ways to deal with armor. Those are, you have to preemptively do it, and then your opponent has to be like, I think I can armor that. Oh, I can't armor that. However, grenade is something that, his grenade is the dynamite. There's no way that character can have this move and ever be B tier. I'm just telling you that right now. I don't care what the cooldown is on it. As long as he has access to that with the rest of his kit, never lower than A. LeBron James. The entire reason why this character was either B or C tier was because off ball, he was miserable to play. They have now made it to where his side air off ball on hit combos into his on ball jab, which allows him to go into his jab, dodge up into down air. He can do his side air chain all the way off the stage. His balls, while not able to necessarily be juggled forever, ha ha ha, funny meme, now only being able to hit you once, he still has so much stage control and presence that this character can never be less than A tier, if you're asking me. Moving on, I'm going to skip a couple characters because I just want to talk about this big bastard because I hate him. Iron Giant. I know a lot of people saying, how can you put Iron Giant in the A tier? I'm gonna just play a clip I saw on Twitter, and I'm gonna just have some stuff in the background, and you tell me, buddy. You tell me. Yeah, because this is my hot take of the video. I'm not saying this character is necessarily Omega broken, but I'm tired of the propaganda of you guys trying to tell me that this character is butt, because y'all say things like, he's just a big hitbox and you can combo him forever. Wrong. I combo him, I get hit, and now it's his combo. My combo just got hijacked like a plane on September 11, 2001. Now it's his combo, and I'm crashing out. 2, just because I can hit him a bunch, that's great. But you do understand, he's got some of the most obnoxious hitboxes in the game, and when he hits you, you die just as easily with him hitting you as you do you hitting him. So yeah, I don't see this, oh, everybody just 10-0s Iron Giant. I don't believe you. You're lying. I don't know what Iron Giants y'all are playing that are just dragging their knuckles like Neanderthals with, you know, scoliosis and can't stand up straight. But y'all not fighting real people. I just don't believe you when you say that this character isn't popping like that. Now, we're being more realistic and humble about it. Obviously not an S tier character because I don't think he's necessarily gonna be taking over the cosmos, but no less than A. Man's definitely an A tier, okay? Let's just get that straight. Speaking of A tiers, we got to talk about them. The Powerpuff Girls were an S tier character, but the nerfs to their Nair, the nerfs to their Ice Breath with Blossom, and overall just the fact that they can't necessarily just zero to death you with dash loops in the air and, you know, Nair into air dash, Nair into breath. The fact that all that is gone, they're still a solid, well-rounded character. Having that down tilt on the ground that catches dodges both ways, hits slightly above them, hits mad far. It's like a better version of Garnet's down tilt. And ultimately, it's pretty good. This character's still good. Now, do I think they'll fall down to B tier? Maybe. But as of right now, I like him in the A. Moving on to Rick Sanchez. I think Rick Sanchez, very much like Marvin, is just a well-rounded character in terms of they can do a lot of things and they can do a lot of cool things, but you have to be so much better than your opponent to get a lot of this stuff started. Now, if this was old Jab Rick with all the stuff he has in season 3, you could make an argument S tier. But with current Jab, I think he's a solid A tier character. But he's got so many different rules to his combo routes where it works on a third of the cast, but then this one works on a different third of the cast. This one works on all the cast, but not at the same percentages. Yes, there are some characters where the combo works on certain characters at certain percentages, drops on other characters at other percentages. Even though two characters might have the same weight, the characters actually don't share the same combo routes that you can hit them with. And there's just a lot that goes into this character. So I feel as though for like the average person, this character might be in the B tier. But like if you really let this character get the cooking with the zero to deaths that he has on some of the roster, I don't see him being any less than A myself. But let's kick things up a notch. This might be my second hot take of the video. Yeah, this is an S tier character. Listen, you get a character that can neutralize almost every projectile in the game. You get a character that has great loops to just dribble you across the floor and then set you up in a tech reset 50-50 situations. You then take that character and you give him a bunch of armor. You then take that character and say, I can play a great aerial game with my air neutral attack, my air down special with the lasers, and having one of the best sayers in the game. Yeah, this character is a full-on problem. And if you play Superman, you play Kal-El, you play Clark Kent, you may in fact be a terrorist and be wanted in 50 states. That being said, Banana Guard, yeah, listen. Banana Guard got a lot of buffs, yes. Banana Guard got a lot of touch-ups, yes. Unfortunately, everything that he got helps him in the post-hit interactions. The main reason why this character was gatekept in the D tier was because he couldn't get the hit interactions. They did not fix that. So if you're good at reading his normals, seeing the startup frames, parrying, he still can't get the hit. They just made him able to get the hit and then hit harder with, you know, being able to chain things together. So yes, at the lowest level of fundamental play, this character probably got better to the C, maybe even B tier. But if people actually know how to play defense, have good movement, and understand, let him hang himself, not necessarily force an approach on Banana Guard, he's still in the same exact spot that he was. Then there's Taz. I hate you, because this is where the developers should keep you. But when you have that spin, you have some of the most obnoxious moves in the game. They've made your down tilt better by giving it more range. I don't know who thought that was a good idea. Yeah, my man's an A tier character. I understand some of you, but I don't think Taz is that great. One of you even said, I didn't see Taz that much last season. My tier list is season 3. Y'all know that, right? We're talking about this season. So last season, or the season before that, or what you saw in the beta, does not apply, not applicable. It should not even show up on the resume as it pertains to what we're looking at here this season. But Taz, overall, good character, good damage, and has a very much consistent way of just getting you off stage. And that's every bite move he has is significantly better than the character we're about to talk about, because Jake, you're still a bite merchant, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, everything you do is just stretchy arm, and then you try to get a bite off and then cheese somebody out. Outside of that, this character's not doing anything special. I understand that he had those down tilt loops, which apparently have been removed from the game, so he doesn't even have that anymore. And he's just a very stale bred character that doesn't do much. However, he can definitely frustrate people. I'm not saying that he has no chance of ever winning. But if you are someone who is seasoned at the game and you have good movement, yeah, Jake still struggles to do much to you. It's kind of tough. But they did buff his neutral air special and the neutral air special follow-up. So hey, he's got some options. He can do things now. He's still trash, but he can do things. Morty. Yeah, Morty, I'm sorry, bro. You should be up here, and you might actually be up. You know, I'm a hot take it. Morty's up here too. That character is insane right now. Not only did they buff all of his hit interactions, they buffed the way he can chain his grenade and hit it and dribble it across the screen. He can use it for some really messed up 50-50 mix by sending the nade at you, throwing the whip, pulling himself, and now you have to guess, are they going to shoot the nade or are they going to come at you with a sair, an up air, a dare? Like, you have to worry about so much. That the rush down play style that Morty can now bring to the table is also insane. Not to mention the stuff that you could do with Airwalker while approaching. There's a lot that this character can do that I'm not going to sit here and regale you all a 2-hour tale to narrate how it goes. But the character's insane right now. He's in a very, very good place. Definitely need to tone that brother down. Arya Stark is still Arya Stark. I'm not explaining that. If you don't know what Arya's been doing, just know she's still doing it. Finn. Some people are telling me that Finn is like not a good character anymore, and any character that has a sword normal and disjointed hitboxes is never going to be lower than B tier. And not to mention having a move that tracks people in the air. Like, me personally, I just don't see how you're not an A tier character. Like, this character is still as scary as they were during season 1, outside of obviously losing the touch of death. So if you want to say that the touch of death mattered that much to their playstyle, then all right, sure, I'll give you B tier. I'll give it to you. But at the same time, I still think that they're better than Marvin. I still think Marvin's significantly better than Velma, which is why there is the separation. Speaking of which, we got Tom. Tom, for the longest time, was up here. Then they nerfed Paddle. Then he was here. Then they nerfed it again. And I still think being able to control so much real estate on the screen, being able to have one of the best up air and down airs in the game, this character is still as scary as they always were, because why? They have Jerry Shot. You don't know what Jerry Shot is? It might be one of the single greatest projectiles I have ever seen in a fighting game, period, platform, or otherwise. And therefore, I don't think this character will ever drop below B as long as he has that. And the fact that Jerry has so much health. Like, you can hit somebody with an entire jab string, knock them off the stage. You hit Jerry with an entire jab string, and that brother's still shooting corks, and you're like, come on, man, die. But I digress. Tom and Jerry, I think, is in a pretty decent spot. Same thing with Samurai Jack. Much like Tom, was in a very great space, was an S tier character, but with one of the best jabs in the game, one of the best combo starters in the game, and having that side special and having the command grab and how they work in conjunction with being some of the best edge guard tools in the game. He doesn't even have to get you to high percent to get rid of you when it talks about the east and the west coast of the screen. He grabs you, throws you off stage, you are in a whole world of trouble, because that storm is coming. And Phil Lamar's gonna be like, I'm sorry, brother, but you must go. And then you die. That's it. It's not really much for negotiation. But if you want to talk about negotiations, look no further than Garnet. We've been begging for this character to be better, to get the buffs she deserves. And I've been saying it ever since the game came out. When you buff Garnet, please be very careful with what you do, because you are playing with Pandora's box. This is a character that if you just give slightly too much, S tier for sure. And they are very close to that right now, but obviously their hitbox is still something that is very detrimental to them. They can still be juggled crazy nasty and really can't get out because they're just so wide. Must be in the hips, huh? Must be them thick thighs saving lives. No, it's destroying her life though. That being said, I think that the character is still good. Giving her the extensions off of her down attack after side attack 1 has done a world of difference in terms of how much her damage potential is. She can force you into 50-50s. Obviously, having Gauntlet is one of the best projectiles in the game. Solid, does a lot of damage. It can be steered into opponents off stage to get early kills and secure kills that you otherwise wouldn't have gotten. And if you do it after a ground bounce, it also ground bounces, which also forces a mind game of, will you do down tilt to catch the tech read? Will you do another jab to catch the tech read? Or will you just going for a neutral attack that just immediately blow them off stage while it's armored? So We haven't even talked about her neutral air being amazing. So yeah, this is a character that is well-rounded right now. And obviously with the new perk, especially if you're talking about just getting people off stage, she could take away very varied recovery options from the opponent just by shooting that out there. And then like you see the orb and you're like, oh god, are they gonna clap? And then you dodge, then you realize you just dodged into a neutral attack, or you dodged into clap itself. Yeah, there's a lot of situations where Garnet's looking good this season. Then we have Bugs. Listen, I know some people want to put Bugs here, but Bugs is no less than A. Bugs is a godlike character. Y'all don't need me to explain this. Shaggy's a godlike character. You don't need me to explain that either. Black Adam was here, but they're here now. They did change a little bit to clap. They changed a little bit to how his side specials work, where they now take 1 bar dodge meter, which is cool and all, but his combo game is still lethal. He still has one of the best side airs in the game, just being able to take you off the screen. And some of the loops that he can do with his standing up attack and then catching you with the lightning strike and then going into, like, you know, his down air. This character's sick nasty. Now we get to talk about one more S tier character, Steven Universe. They keep nerfing this character bit by bit, but as long as he has some of the best air movement in the game, some of the best air normals in the game, some of the best damage in the game, can spawn a mini-me, can put a bomb on the screen, he does simply too much. And the ability to place those shields in the air, combo off of them, give himself platforms that he otherwise wouldn't have access to, the parachute. Yeah, this character is over-kitted. Like, he just has so many things that the rest of the roster is just like, bro, can I get some of the moveset? Huh? What about me? What about me? What about Finn? Huh? What about me? What about Velma? Huh? Like, you know, some of these other characters need some other moves, Steven. Chill out. Now, as for the A tier, we're also adding Harley Quinn because Harley Quinn she's a monster. I'm sorry. I understand that they took away reverse up tilt from you guys, but you still guys have one of the best side airs in the game. You still have one of the best staircases in the game. You still have the ability to have very consistent damage. Your hammer being omnipresent, hitting 360 degrees and being very hard to punish for most of the roster. Her slide and dash attacks covering so many different angles, and not to mention the dash attack can't even be approached from above by most characters on the roster. Yeah, you got to understand, this character has a lot, not to mention having bomb gets on you. It makes their staircase game even better. They can hit jab, up tilt, jump up air, and then they can hit the bomb. And if you're at like 80% when you get hit with jab, you could just die. So yeah, this character is very, very consistent in what they do. Then we have Agent Smith. I was wondering about putting Agent Smith up here because I just don't see enough of Agent Smith. So for confidence purposes, I'm gonna just put him right here. So yeah, Agent Smith, I think he's just a really good character, really solid. I don't really think there's too much to say about him. He's been doing the same thing since he came out, and he's pretty consistent at it. Then we have Beetlejuice. I think Beetlejuice is really good. I think he's really solid. I think he's a really dangerous character. He worries me. He concerns me. He gives me, what do people call it? The heebiest of the jeebies. Not because he's necessarily a scary character, but because good damage, the rework to his down tilt makes him very consistent. Not to mention having some of the best aerial trajectory changing moves in the game. And once again, the platform fighter, when you could change your aerial trajectory and put people off stage and put them in a situation where they have to guess where you're going to go. And even when they necessarily guess right on what move you were going to do, they don't necessarily understand exactly where that was going to place you. And therefore, honestly, I know y'all probably getting tired of this gag. Y'all probably like, bro, you can't have the entire roster in the A tier. But I don't think you understand. I think a lot of this game, outside of the crazy outliers, are reasonably powered in a way that they're very close to each other. That might be my hot take. My hot take might be that the A and the B tiers are really close in power right now. Then we have Jason. Jason, you're just gonna chill out in the B tier right now. Like, you have a game plan, it's good, it's relatively consistent, but your hitbox is actually doing what people claim Iron Giant's hitbox is doing in terms of limiting your potential. You don't have a combo breaker move. Now you do have that armor move, but if you miss it, you don't get it for like another 8 seconds. And let's be honest, when you're running around with Jason's hitbox and you have moves as punishable as his are, yeah, 8 seconds, that might as well be an eternity, because if you mess it up, you could just die. There are plenty of characters in the game just chomping at the bit to touch a death you. Not to mention, if anybody has a consistent way to break armor or has a really fast armor breaking move, your entire armor game is a moot point. But yeah, that's where I have everybody right now. I know there's a lot of characters in the A tier. Y'all thinking that's kind of cramped, but I genuinely feel like the A tier is that good. I feel like it is kind of stacked at the top end of the game. Because I'm gonna be honest, if I heard that there was a tournament and I heard that any of these characters won, that would not surprise me at all. These are just the characters I expect to be winners. These are the characters I expect to just win the bread. These characters wouldn't shock me. B tier characters, it wouldn't necessarily shock me, but they have some matchups that are like, no, that's kind of not what you want to see. That's not what you want to see in the bracket. And obviously C, D, and the bin, I'm not a believer in you guys right now. But I could be proven wrong when the time comes. But yeah, that's my tier list. That's what we're looking at right now. Let's go ahead and post that. Yeah. All right, comment section. This is the part where we get to make fun of the people who just skip to the end of the video. So now we're going to play the jambalaya game. So without further ado, and when it comes down to the last 2 characters, listen, Taz, I just feel as though they nerfed that brother into the ground. They took his kneecaps. They really did not give my man the tools to shine. And without just being a spinning, tornado merchant, what does he really have at his disposal, So like, honestly, this entire character is just chopped from the waist down, and that's tough because he's 90% waist. That being said, the other furry, I don't know who let this character outzone everybody in the game and just be all elite esports, roly-poly-oly, and just smoke everybody, having the best aerial movement in the game, having some of the most high damage stuff going on in the game. I honestly just don't know who allowed this game to be in this state right now, but Reindog, he's running the meta right now, and that right there is just enough for me to just not even want to be here for season 4. But yeah, that's what I think on the tier list, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys next time. Matter of fact, furthermore, I'm standing 10 toes down on what y'all seeing on the screen right now. If y'all think y'all can make a better tier list, or you can prove me wrong, or say that my list is wrong, debate me. I'm willing to have a Discord call in the server. I want all the smiggity smoke, because you're not going to tell me that the top 5 characters in the game aren't Iron Giant, Morty, Shaggy, Garnet, and of course, Reindog, because they are clearly running away with the game right now. And we are just lucky that there aren't too many people playing 4 of those characters right now. But once people really start to, get wind and these characters start to catch on, yeah, you think Multiversus is bad today? Wait until these goblins take over. And honestly, Superman, Harley, Rick, Batman, like, I know a couple of them did get some buffs in season 3, but it just wasn't enough, brother. It just wasn't enough, sister. They need to be pumped up to real deal Holyfield levels of power, because right now, they're cheeks. And who said Banana Guard needed to be a top 15 character? That's just crazy.